Good morning, class. Today we're going to look at a word problem. This is a trigonometry word problem, so we're going to use our ratios. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to read the word problem. Tom spotted a tree across the river and marked the spot directly across from it. Then he walked to another point 15 meters down the river and found the angle between his side and the river, and the line connecting them to the tree was 76 degrees. What is the shortest distance across the river? So with word problems, it's always important to draw out a picture. This makes it easier for you to kind of rationalize what you're seeing and how the words can relate to the picture. So the first thing I'm going to do is draw my triangle. Okay, so I'm going to label this point A. This is where Tom is looking at the tree, and I'm going to draw my tree. I'm going to get my color brown. I'm going to draw my tree here, so I know it's my tree, and then some green. And this is Tom. A is Tom. So Tom sees a tree across the river, right? And he's trying to say, where's the shortest point for him to cross the river? So I'm going to label this point B, because we can see that Tom walked to another point 15 meters down. So Tom walks to this point, which is 15 meters away from him. The other piece of information is, though, we know that the original point where Tom was looking and the new point forms a 76-degree angle. So I'm going to mark that as 76-degree angle. I'm going to draw my right angle here. So I know that that is 90 degrees because it forms a perfect right angle from the tree to point B. So I look at my step one. So step one says label the sides. So the first thing I'm going to do, we know this is our theta angle, 76. So I'm going to say this is my opposite side. I know the side from the right angle is my hypotenuse side. And I know that the side next to theta is my adjacent side. So we have our opposite, hypotenuse, and adjacent side. So we've labeled side one. Check. I'm going to check that off. Identify the sides that it is given. I look down here and I say my opposite side is an unknown, my hypotenuse side is an unknown, but I know my adjacent side. So my adjacent side is equal to 15 meters, and there's meters in this equation. Identify the side you want to know. We know we're swimming across the river, so we know we can swim across the river from point A or from point B. We need to know the shortest distance. We know that the angle or the line across from the 90-degree angle is our longest distance, so I know that I'm going to put C here for the tree. We know that this point from C to B is our shortest distance. So that is the side that we want to know. So our unknown, our opposite side, is our unknown. You can put a question mark or you can put an X. So I'm going to write out my trig ratios again. Remember, these are the trig ratios that you should write out at the start of every problem. So the sine is equal to opposite divided by hypotenuse. Cosine is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. Tangent is equal to opposite over adjacent. So I look at what do I know? I know my adjacent side. I know my opposite side. Or I don't know my opposite side. That's what I'm looking for. So I know O and A. I'm going to use my tangent equation. So I'm going to pick the tangent of opposite over adjacent. So now it says substitute the information. So I'm going to write in this box, but then I'm going to solve it out in this white space that we have on the bottom right. Tangent of 76 degrees is equal to, my opposite side is unknown, so I'm going to place an X for my variable, and my adjacent side is 15. So when I write this equation out, when you guys should do in your notebooks, you'll write the tangent of 76 And since we're doing ratios, we want to make sure that we always put this over 1 is equal to x over 15. Here's when we want to make sure that we remember that we're going to be cross multiplying. We cross multiply to isolate the variable, and this allows us to solve for x. So when we cross multiply, our equation becomes the tangent of 76 times 15 is equal to x times 1. That way we got rid of everything in the denominator, and now we can kind of simplify by combining like terms. The tangent of 76, so I don't know that off the top of my head, so I'm going to plug that into my calculator. And I'm left with 4.01 times 15 is equal to anything times 1 is always itself is equal to just x. So we have x by itself, and now we just need to multiply. We have 4.01 times 15, which gives us, and I need to use my calculator. I'm left with x is equal to 60.15 meters. And then I go back into the solving for x, I can just put my 60.15 meters. When you're solving these problems, make sure that you're going through these steps. By following these steps, it make it pretty hard to make a mistake, because what you're essentially doing is you're labeling your triangle, you're labeling all the sides, you're making sure that you put the correct numbers to the sides, and that way, after you have those numbers, you can pick what trigonometry function you're going to need. Again, when you're reading these, you also want to look for some key words. What is the shortest distance? The river, right? If it had said the longest distance, then we would have been solving for our hypotenuse. But since it said the shortest distance, we were looking for C to B. Okay. Good luck.